This is Josh Holyfield, and welcome to another episode of Make America Swole Again. A no bullshit, no sugarcoating, snowflake-free podcast where I teach you how to step out of your comfort zone, stop dreaming, and start smashing your goals in fitness and in life.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Actually, I don't think there's any ladies that are watching. But if they are, what's up? Kind of awkward. If you guys don't mind doing me a quick favor, if you're a regular, take a second and drop a share. On tonight's podcast, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you guys how to make more money. I'm going to teach you how to create more success in your life. I'm going to teach you how to change your mindset so that you're no longer a victim to the fact that you feel like you're limited in your resources. Okay? Now, I'm here to tell you this isn't like a get rich quick where you're going to fucking listen to my podcast and wake up overnight and you're going to be fucking rich and you're going to have all the money in the world. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you the mindset shift that needs to happen in order for you to start making more money than you make now. Okay? And there's a couple of key, very important shifts that need to happen in order for you to break free of what most people are in, which is the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. Okay? I spent a long time during my adult life there. I'm not saying right now I'm financially where I want to be, but I'm definitely better off than I was. And the great thing about where I am now is I went from working for the government and relying upon the government to pay my check and pay my bills to now relying upon myself and the business that I built from nothing. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully you guys can take some of my advice. And the reason why we're going to be talking about this tonight is because if you guys don't know, what I did is in the Facebook group today, I posted a video a post that basically said, very simple, what's the biggest problem you're trying to overcome in your life? And just off the top of my head, most of the comments were related to money, finances, or making more money, or your business, or whatever the case may be. We even had one guy go as far as trying to blame the fucking Biden administration for why he's not making the money he wants to make. So we're going to spend some time talking about what you need to do internally so that you guys can make some more money. You guys can change your life and achieve the mindset that you need to achieve in order to step outside of where you are. Okay. Now, the very first thing that I'm going to ask you, and for those of you guys who are part of Alpha Team, this is going to be a little bit of a reminder. Fire Team Alpha. This is going to be a little bit of a recap from our check-in over the weekend. Okay. But I'm going to go into a little bit more nuance and add more detail. So if you do want to hang out and consume this, it's definitely encouraged. Now, before I get into the content tonight, just want to give you guys a frago. On Thursday morning, I will be officially opening registration for Fire Team. Okay. So that is Fire Teams is the 12-week group coaching that we do. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with it. Fire Team's registration will open on Thursday. I already have 3 early birds who've signed up. Those are either past clients or current clients. So in this next group, I only have 9 slots instead of the regular 12. Okay. So I highly, highly suggest that if you want to get onto Fire Teams, okay, you drop me a DM. What I'm willing to do for those people who are listening and tuning into the podcast is I'll give you guys an early bird access where if you want to commit, I'll get you into the Fire Team so that you don't have to worry about racing the line. Okay. So again, that registration is going to take place on Thursday and we'll go from there. And then the next Fire Team will start July 3rd. Okay. All right, let's get into it. The very first question, and I'm going to start this conversation with you guys tonight with, is I want you to think about 2 things. So the first thing I want you to think about is I want you to put the biggest problem that you have in your life right now in the forefront of your mind, whatever that is. Okay. We already did this exercise today just to read a few of them, okay, that we had on that post. One guy, he's trying to make his business a sustainable living. That's a good one. Okay. There's a couple guys who are talking about trying to get out of toxic relationships, work burnout, other people's drama. I work too much and don't have time for my family. It doesn't feel like there's enough time in the day. Assholes, chronic pain and weight, finding time to spend with the family, making time for myself. So time is a very common one, which we'll get to that one next week. Okay. Stupidity or unsupportive people, self-destruction, alcohol, learning effective communication skills. There's a lot of really good ones here. But a lot of these that I'm seeing on here is they struggle with finances, money, financial independence, money, finding a place to live, it looks like some guy said. So you guys can see, looking at these problems, and I hope for those of you guys who read through that content, you guys realize that your problems aren't really that unique, okay? And so that's the first thing, is what is the biggest problem that you have in your life? The second is, I want you to look around you, okay? You can look around my background, right? So the chair that I'm sitting in, the microphone that I'm speaking into, the stand that the microphone is attached to, the printer behind me, the couch behind me. You guys can see the desk right here, the blanket up there on the couch that you can barely see, all that stuff in the frame that you guys can see, the hat, the shirt that I'm wearing, okay? Look around you, all the things that you have in your immediate surrounding. Even my dog back there, right? They're all doing something. All these things are existing in my life. And the reason why these things exist in my life is for one reason. It's because they solve a problem for me. Okay? Like I said, the dog behind me, he solves a problem for me. He gives me companionship. Okay? My wife, she solves a problem. She solves problems for me. That's why she's in my life. My friends, my family, my kids even solve problems for me. The printer behind me, it solves a problem for me. Television, my phone, photos that I have, whatever the case may be, it doesn't really fucking matter what it is in your life. The only reason it exists in your life is because it solves a problem for you. The only reason why those of you guys who are listening to my podcast tonight continue to show up and listen to it is because I solve a problem or problems for you. Otherwise, you would not listen, okay? You wouldn't show up if this wasn't something that was valuable to you, aka it solves a problem for you, right? Okay. So why do you make money? Because you solve a problem for someone else. Okay? Think about it. In the situation that you're in your life, if you are a fucking McDonald's burger flipper, you are getting paid based upon the size of the problem that you solve. The reason why McDonald's burger flippers don't make very much money is because anybody can flip fucking burgers. Okay? The more complex, the more challenging, the more difficult, the less people that are capable of solving a specific problem, the more valuable it is to the world. And that as far as that problem is concerned, it also has to have a greater impact. This is exactly why doctors and lawyers make a lot of money, because there's not very many of them compared to the population. And typically when you need a doctor or a lawyer, it's associated to a really big problem in your life, right? Okay. So from that perspective, the things that you are willing to pay for, how much you're willing to pay for it, depends on how big of a problem you believe it is in your life. The example that I'll give you right now is let's say as an example, I have a fucking Snickers bar. You're starving. Actually, I digress. I have a Snickers bar. And I have a price tag on my Snickers bar. It's $500. I know for a fact that anybody here tonight who's watching this podcast or listening in would not be willing to pay $500 for the Snickers bar that I have. There's no reason for that. Now, let's think about it from this perspective. You haven't eaten in 3 days. You're starving. There's no food readily available. All you have is money. And I'm the only motherfucker who has anything, and the price tag is $500. Would you pay? Suddenly, your situation is a little bit different. This is exactly why I have coaching options that are different in price. It's not so much about how much money the people make who are purchasing those plans. It's more so about how big they perceive the problem to be in their life, okay? And their perceived ability to solve it for themselves, okay? So, good example. I have Trevor on the call right now. Trevor's watching, and Trevor is a member of Fire Teams. Fire Teams is $500 for 12 weeks. There are some people who would learn all about the things that Fire Teams does for you and the transformation that you could achieve. What's included the whole 9 yards. Like, there's no way that's worth it. I can just do it myself. There are other people who they look at a program like Fire Teams and they're like, bro, like that's exactly what I need. I need the accountability. I need the coaching. I need the consistency. I need the people to be there to support me. And I may not have $500, but this is important to me because it's my weight, my health, and the problem that I'm having with discipline and integrity is big enough where I'm going to find the money. So they find the $500. There are other people who have my lower tier coaching, which is $25 a month. Most of those guys are already on track with their fitness. They're already doing it. They just need the programs to follow and maybe somebody to jump in and help them with the basics. And so they get onto the weekly Thursday night call. They really just pay for it so that they can get access to the plans and have somebody there to answer their questions that they trust, which is me on the other end of it. $25 a month. That's valuable for them. It's that price point is commensurate to the vastness or size of the problem that they feel like it solves. Okay. Where we also have our coaching option, the most expensive price for my coaching one-on-one is $5,000 for 6 months. Okay. So you're paying $5,000 to work one-on-one with a coach over a period of 6 months. That's a lot of money. I know it's a lot of money. And we typically close those, at least a couple of them a month. Why? Because those people feel that the problem that I'm solving for them is worth that, and they're willing to pay for it. Right? Why do I have these different options? Because I have the ability to solve different severity of problems. Now, going back into you and your life, what would you say if I told you there are 2 ways to earn more money? There's either option A, solve the problem that you can currently solve for more people, or option B, solve bigger problems for people who have more money. Okay? That's it. Those are the only 2 options. You can either solve the same problem for more people, or you can solve a bigger problem. Most of you men who are struggling with having to work all the time and not making enough money, the reason why you don't have work, family, life balance, and all the bullshit that you're feeding yourself, and it sucks because you don't make enough money and blah, 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 is because you think that if you just continue to solve the same problem but more times, it's going to make you more money. But the problem that you're having is you could actually focus on, instead of just solving that same problem more, you could solve a bigger problem. But you don't want to do that because it requires that you do what? You invest into yourself. Your success in your life directly correlates to how big the problems you can solve are. And if you want to be really successful in your life, you need to figure out a way to solve rich people's problems. And then you want to become really wealthy, then you solve a lot of rich people's big problems, and then you'll never struggle with finances. So I can solve a really small problem a lot of times, or I can solve a really big problem fewer times. And then the sweet spot is figuring out a way to solve a really big problem a lot of times. And that's how you become wealthy. Okay? So most of you guys on this post are looking at your problems as burdens. I have one guy on here who just did a post in our Facebook group, and he said, "Hey guys, I'm having trouble." Here it is. "How do you get your motivation to get back into the gym? I've been out of commission for about 3 months with my shoulder. I want to start again, but I put on 40 pounds. This gentleman, I'm not going to say his name, has what looks like a 2 or 3-year-old son. Looks just like him. Built just like him. The response that I had to that was, why don't you go tell your son that the reason why you're not the father he deserves is because you're not motivated. The problem that all of you guys have with these problems that you're facing with this post and the one that has close to 150 comments on it now is you're looking at your problems as burdens. You're looking at your problems as if it's something that is a bad thing to have in your life. That's exactly why your life isn't getting better. You're avoiding those problems. You're running away from those problems. So I'm going to give you some perspective. When I was 16 years old, I moved out of my dad and my mom's house. I went on my own. And at that time, I didn't have a place to live. All I had was my car. I was still in school. And at the time, the biggest problem that I had at the moment was finding a place to live. I did. And then once I had that place to live, I stayed with my best friend Sean's family. His parents let me in. The biggest problem that I had was just making it through and graduating high school, getting the marks that I needed, which was no problem. My eldest daughter is 14 years old. Right now in her life, her biggest fucking problem is the fact that she was expected to come to her dad's house for the summer and she didn't want to. That was her biggest problem. I want you to go back to when you were a kid, and I want you to think about what your biggest problem was, okay? Now I want you to go back 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, I was 25. At the time, at 25 years old, my biggest problem was probably fucking making it to work on time and maintaining the servers that I was managing for the software company I worked for. That was what I did. Now, there wasn't very many people who could fix those servers, which is why I made $100,000 a year. I think my pay was $110 or something. Why? Because the ability that I had to solve those problems paired with the security clearance I had from the government made me indispensable. That's why I made what I made. When I started doing this business, when we transitioned over to this, the reason why we went from making a couple $1,000s a month to when we first started it to making multiple 6, 7 figures is because not so much because I solved the problem for more people, which obviously we have, but it's also because I reframed what I was selling. Okay. I know I don't sell fitness. I don't sell nutrition. Yes, I teach those things. So they're part of what we offer. That's not what I'm selling. Okay? If you're overweight and you're struggling with like this guy that I talked about, it's not because you don't know how to work out or exercise or eat healthy. Sure, that's part of it. It's because you have some type of underlying mental issue, confidence, self-esteem, self-belief, lack of motivation, discipline. The list goes on. And the reason why you're overweight is actually because there's a misalignment between who you are and who you want to be. And you are struggling with creating an alignment with those two identities. And what I'm selling and what I'm offering with this business is how to align your action and who you are with who you want to be. If that means I have to teach you how to stay consistent with your working out, then that's what I'll do. If that means I have to get onto a fucking podcast and teach you how to shift your mindset so that you can make more money, that's what I'll do. If that means I have to figure out a way to fucking break you out of this negative depression that you're struggling with, that's what I'll do. We fix marriages. We've saved people from suicide. We've helped men get promotion. We've helped guys start and fucking create success in their businesses. It's not about losing weight or building muscle or getting into the gym. I expanded the scope of the problems and the severity of those problems that I was solving. If your marriage was falling apart and you didn't know what you needed to do to fix it, and that's what you wanted to do in your life, how much would you be willing to pay for that? If you woke up in the morning and you were fucking ashamed of the man that you saw in the mirror and you didn't know what you needed to do to fix it, and you were too fucking depressed to the point where you felt that you were suicidal, what would you be willing to do to permanently fix that? Suddenly, when I shifted the types of problems that I was focusing on solving, my business grew. I started to make more money. Why? Not because I'm a greedy asshole, but because more people were willing to pay more money to solve those more severe problems. What did I have to do in order to accomplish that? I invested thousands and thousands of dollars on business coaching, personal growth, investment, education. I went to school. I fucking read more than you guys realize. All I do is study. And everything that I teach you guys comes from a place of experience through my personal investment. So the problem that most people are having when they say, I don't make enough money, or I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have this, I don't have that, it's because they're wasting it And they're living in a place of scarcity where instead of using that time and money that they do have to invest into the skills that they need to enhance their ability to solve problems, they would rather just be okay with the status quo and continue to live their life where they solve the same set of low-value problems for low-value people. And that's why you're expendable to your boss. That's why your business doesn't grow. And that's why you're struggling with breaking free from where you are financially. Okay? So if you're in a place where you're struggling with your money, you're struggling with your time, you're struggling with whatever resource, and you have a problem that you're solving for the world, I want you to, instead of asking yourself how you can make more money or how you can create more time, is how can I solve this problem or a bigger problem more efficiently or for more people? What adjustments to my skill set or my knowledge base do I need to make so that I can solve even bigger problems? That's the question. The money comes after the solution that you're creating in the world, okay? If 10 years ago, like I said, when I was 25 years old and I decided I was going to wake up one day and start fucking like I did when I was 30 or 32 and say, you know what, I'm going to start a fucking fitness business on the internet. That's all I would have done was just workout plans. And the reason for that is because I didn't have the knowledge or the experience or the skill set that I needed. How many grown men in their 40s are going to take marriage advice from a 25-year-old? How many fucking dudes in your 40s are going to take marriage advice from business advice from a 25-year-old? Financial advice from a 25-year-old? I had to be older and more experienced and wise and go through and figure out how to solve those problems for myself. I wouldn't be able to teach you how to navigate a divorce or navigate depression or navigate suicidal thoughts or anxiety or PTSD or all the things related to the shit that we go through as men unless I went through those and now I'm on the other side of it. The most valuable thing that you can be fucking investing into at this point in time in your life or any time in your life is yourself. And most of the time, especially men, you guys yourselves last, and then you wonder why your life isn't changing, improving, and you're not growing. You need to invest into yourself, develop skills, and find ways to solve bigger problems for the world, and that's going to increase your earning potential. But instead, what most men would rather do is focus on being victims to their problems and perceiving their problems as burdens and challenges that they can't overcome or excuses for why they don't or can't, and blaming those situations for why they're where they are in their life. When the fact of the matter is those exact problems are what are going to take you to the next level that you fucking want to go to. Again, going back to the example that I gave earlier, when you were a teenager, the fucking severity of the problems that you were solving were minute, minimal, inconsequential. Now, fast forward 10, 20, 30 years, the size of the problems that you're solving are much more impactful. They're much more severe for the world. That's why you make more money. That's why you're more respected. That's why your status in society is higher. If you're 40 years old and you're still making fucking $14 an hour, it's because for the last 20 motherfucking years, you haven't figured out a way to solve bigger problems than $14 an hour problems. Hello? But instead of saying, hey, asking the question, how can I overcome these problems in my life and learn how to solve them so then I can go and solve them for other people, you allow those problems to be the things that are stopping you from becoming the man that you want to become. The problems that you have in your life are opportunities. They are not burdens. Your life is just a series of you overcoming problem after problem after problem until eventually you get to the end of it, and now you know how to solve all these problems. That's wisdom. A wise man is somebody who can foresee problems before they come because they've been in that situation. That's all your life is. It's just your ability to repeatedly solve more difficult and challenging and severe problems over time. That's it. And the bigger the fucking problems you solve, or the more problems you solve for more people, the more success you will create. I just had John Dock comment. John Dock is a business owner. He owns an 8-figure, yes, 8-figure, I think closer to 9-figure water distribution company. And I'm minimizing that, right? They do a lot more than that. But basically his job is he works for municipalities, the government, to create water treatment and distribution centers across the Midwest. Okay? Huge business. Okay? John runs the whole fucking thing. Hundreds of employees, contracts, millions of dollars going back and forth. Why? Why does his business make the money that it makes? I'll tell you why. Because he solves a really fucking big problem for a lot of people, which is making sure people have water. If guys like John didn't exist, you'd be thirsty, and that would be a fucking problem. And I don't know if you've ever lived in a place that doesn't have running water, but it sucks. I used to have to, when I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, I used to have to brush my teeth with a fucking water bottle. Okay? Good example. I've got another guy on here. His name is Steve. He just commented. Steve owns a high-end remodeling business where he goes into people's houses and he fixes things up. And a lot of times what he does is he works for very affluent, wealthy people who want work done on their house. What's the difference between a guy who owns a remodeling company that works doing fucking maintenance for Section 8 housing and the guy who's doing remodeling jobs for multimillionaires? It's the way that he positions himself to solve the fucking problems that he solves for these people. That's the difference. Is Steve capable of going and doing Section 8 maintenance? 100%. What do you think the pay is for that? He's also capable of going and interacting with and learning how to solve problems for very fucking wealthy people, which in most cases, their priorities are much different. So he understands what their priorities are and how to have a conversation with those people so they feel confident he's able to solve their problems without having to waste too much time and make too many fucking decisions. So he makes more money doing that and serving those people because he knows how to solve their problems. Steve is one of my one-on-one clients. He does not nickel and dime me because he understands that the value of the coaching that I provide is dictated by his perception of what it's worth, not mine. So when he says, I want to invest this much money into this coaching so I can help become this version of myself that I want to become, that money that he invested has now become a vehicle that gives him the drive and the accountability that he needs to stay consistent with the coaching. The price of the coaching is just a transfer of energy where he said, okay, yes, this is an investment that I want to make towards myself. Guess how many fucking days this guy's missed from the gym in the last 6 months since we started working together? Very few. Yet I get messages from our $24.99 a month clients asking me to reset their program every couple weeks because they had a vaginal rash that they needed to clear up, or one guy sprained his ankle, or one guy had a busy week at work, or another guy his tummy hurt. You have to understand that your value, the value that you put on the things that you buy, dictates what it's worth. Right? Going back to the example that I used for the Snicker bars earlier. I bet you if you had to pay $500 for that Snickers bar when you were starving, it would be the best tasting fucking Snickers bar you ever had. Right? What do you think you would appreciate more? If you started a business that earned $1 million, or you hit the lotto that you fucking won and you won $1 million. Money earned is much sweeter than money won. The same concept applies to everything. So it really frustrates me when I got guys who sit here and they fucking don't tell me that they don't have time. They don't have money. They're broke. All they do is work and they can't figure out how to get by. Or even worse, a situation where I had it the other day or earlier today where a guy said the reason why I don't have money is because our current administration has ran our economy into the ground. Bullshit. Last month, my business brought in $60,000 of cash. And if the economy was fucking broken and there was people starving like the Great Depression, Guys like me wouldn't fucking exist. I'm a nice to have at best. At best. If you feel that the president of the United States has that much of a fucking impact on your ability to earn, you don't deserve to earn more. Because it's very clear that you've adopted a victim fucking mindset and you're not willing to do what it takes. Just like John Dock said, recognize, embrace, solve, repeat. So if you don't have time, if you don't have money, maybe it's about time you look at investing it instead of spending it. And I fucking promise you, the thing that is going to have the greatest return on investment, 10 times out of 10, 100 times out of 100, will always have the greatest return on investment is yourself. Period. There's a fucking reason why the guys who do my coaching not only win in their health, their fitness, their strength, they also win in their marriages, their relationships, their businesses, their finances, their jobs, their relationships, the fucking time that they spend with their kids, you name it. This is not a coincidence. There is a direct correlation between you being willing to invest in yourself and show up as the best man that you can be and the quality of the relationship you have with the wife, the quality of the relationship you have with your kids, the amount of fucking money you make, how you perform in your job or business, the list goes on. That's a fact. When you invest into yourself, you are making the commitment to grow. And I'm not doing this because it's okay. Now that I told you to invest in yourself, here's my coaching. But bro, like, how many fucking dudes who are fat, overweight, out of shape, struggle with their mental health, depressed, also having issues with their fucking marriage, with the relationships with their kids, not being fulfilled in their job or their business, telling us that they're not fucking motivated. Bro, isn't your entire fucking life falling apart around you enough motivation? Or have you just accepted the fact that's what your life is now? Come on, man. Don't you want better? How are you going to show up as the leader that your family deserves, as the fucking father that your sons deserve to look up to, the man that your wife can be proud of when you walk around at the beach or the fucking theme park or the water park or even in the house where she's like, fuck yeah, that's my man. Damn, look at that dude. Instead, you have to fucking peel back your stomach so you can see your dick. You think she's proud of that? Doesn't she deserve better, bro? Come on, dude. That's not enough fucking motivation for you? You fucking limp around on top of her for fucking 30 seconds because you're too winded to fucking do anything better? Bro, don't you want better for your life? Why would you fucking wake up in the morning every day and go do a fucking job that you hate with people that you despise and just be okay with fucking driving your life into the fucking bullshit and not enjoy anything about it? Why do you have people in your life that are not respectful of you? And how the fuck can you expect those people to be respectful of you if you don't know how to respect yourself? You deserve better. Your kids deserve better. Your wife deserves better. But you don't have time. I get it. You don't have money. Oh, all I do is work. No, that's your fucking choice. Bro, you need to take ownership. Why should anybody have to ask you to want to be the best version of you? This shit's not hard, dude. All you got to do is wake up in the morning and fucking drink your water. Eat a high-protein breakfast. Do some fucking exercise. Take care of yourself. Get some fucking sun. Read a book. Like, I'm not asking you guys to go fucking figure out how to build a rocket to the fucking moon. And this is basic level shit that anybody should be able to do. And you don't have the discipline and the motivation to just do the basic entry-level shit, bro? Like, it baffles me, man. Like, I don't understand how you could not want to be better. Like, how are you okay with just being where you are? So look, man, again, the whole purpose of this podcast, and I don't want to hang out here for too much longer, is everybody has problems. I just went through a bunch of them earlier. And I get it. Some people have some really fucking tough problems. I just saw a photo there, or a post there the other day of a man who lost his daughter, 4-year-old daughter. I couldn't fucking imagine. I pray that I never have to be that guy who loses a child. But when I see guys like that who actually have real, legitimate, painful fucking problems, and then 2 comments down, I fucking ask somebody what their biggest problem is, and they tell me it's their biggest problem is they don't have the motivation to take care of themselves. I can't help but ask, how could you be so fucking selfish? Like that 4-year-old girl that I just saw the comments on of her dying. I fucking promise you that little girl, that dad would trade anything, including his own life, so that girl could live. And you're wasting your life. Like, that blows my mind, bro. Like, you have the odds that you're even born are just so minute. Like, the fact that you exist is a gift. It's a fucking miracle. It's a miracle. The fact that you exist is a miracle. The odds, you could have just as likely, if not more likely, ended up being a stain on somebody's bed sheets. And you're here. And given the opportunity to learn and grow and experience joy and love and have children and pass your legacy to those children and spend a long life where you get to learn how to solve really cool problems and hopefully leave an imprint on the world and leave it a better place than it was when you started. And that's an opportunity that you have every fucking day. When you wake up in the morning, you could be doing that. But instead, going back to this post from earlier, your fucking biggest problem is you're not motivated. You're tired. You work too much. You don't make enough money. You can't control your anger. You can't control what you put in your fucking mouth and what you eat. The biggest problem that you have in your life is assholes. Like this guy, Tony Merritt, that's his response. The biggest problem you have in your life is assholes. My biggest problem is my weight, yet you do nothing about it. Bro, imagine having a life that good. Being depressed, having anxiety, those things are privileges. Because I could tell you right now, I don't have time to be fucking depressed, even if I wanted to be. Because I got fucking goals and I got a family and I got people that look up to me. There's no time for me to sit and fucking be depressed, bro. Sorry. Must be nice. I'm going to say that. You must have a really easy life if you have the time to sit and be depressed. Or you must have settled to the point where now you have nothing that you're doing to grow or get better or expand your life or improve. And so now you have time to sit in the past and be depressed. Ouch. Your responsibility as a man this isn't about just making more money. This is about creating an impact and changing the lives of the people around you and changing the fucking world and leaving a legacy that's worth being proud of. You should be solving bigger problems, more complex problems, more severe problems for more people. But instead you choose not to. And instead of figuring out solutions to all the fucking problems that you have in your life, you look at those things as burdens and then you use them as excuses. I don't get it, man. I really don't. I'm lost for words on that. So I wanted to leave you guys with that perspective today because I think it's really important for you to understand that if you're really serious about changing your life, man, and you want to create an impact and maybe your motivation is to make more money and you want to create financial freedom and success and all the great things in the world that involve what we talked about tonight, stop thinking it's more complicated than just figuring out how to solve bigger fucking problems. That's it. I told you guys a story about how I got partnered with, and now I work for the CEO of First Form. His name is Andy Frisella. The way that I got into his employment was by basically identifying a problem he had and demonstrating to him that I could solve it. That's it. And I took the initiative to say, hey, I'm going to solve this problem for you. And if you feel like my solution is valuable enough for you to pay, then you can hire me. If not, no hard feelings. And he hired me. Why? Because I was able to demonstrate that I can solve a fucking problem. And I took the fucking initiative to be willing to do it for him without having to ask. How many people do you think go to him and say, hey, I want to work for you. What can I do to solve some of your problems? No, that's not how it works. You want to fucking make more money, bro. Go out into the world and find a really fucking big problem that you're capable of solving. And I promise you will never have problems with money. Fact. So hopefully this information was valuable for you guys. Again, if you're listening, in closing, Fire Team's registration will open on Thursday. If you're listening to this tonight and you're having trouble with any of the mental health related things or consistency or mindset or weight loss or any of that, I'm here to tell you that Fire Teams will solve all of those problems. And the guarantee that I put behind fire teams is very simple. And I would invite any guy out there, any coach, fitness or not, whatever the case may be, to match this guarantee. This is the guarantee. If you finish, make it through all 12 weeks of fire team and graduate, and you didn't feel that fire teams improved your health, your wealth, and your relationships, okay, so how your physique, your health, your weight loss, your muscle gain, whatever your goal was, the amount of money you make, or the impact of your performance in your business or at your job, and the quality of the relationships with your friends, family, coworkers, kids, wife, whatever the case may be, with an emphasis on wife and kids. If you don't feel that it's improved all three of those categories, not only will I refund you, I will send you a check back for double what you paid. It's $500 to sign up. If you're not 100% satisfied and able to say that all three of those categories improved after the 12 weeks and you make it through and graduate, I will send you back double what you paid. That's the bet that I'm willing to put on the table. That's how confident I am in what this will do for you. There is not another coach out there. There's not another fucking guy on the internet, influencer, whatever the fuck you want to call me, who's willing to put that much on the table. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. And it's not even nothing to lose. There's zero ability. There's no way for you to lose. You can only gain in this situation by signing up for fire teams. Either you completely transform your fucking life or you walk out in 3 months $500 richer. So again, if this is what you want to do, you want to get in on the next team. For those of you guys who are listening to Fire Podcast tonight, registration, I'll give you guys early bird access. Message me before the end of the day tomorrow, and I will get you an invoice sent over. We'll get you signed up, and you can be part of the next fire team. Any questions for me before we head out for the night? All right. I'll catch you guys Thursday night. Make sure you tune into the Facebook group live. We will be hosting the Iron Forge group coaching. Think of Tuesday nights. The message is mindset. It's intended for the people who haven't started with this journey of self-growth and personal development. Thursday nights is for the people who are already on that journey, my current clients, okay? So the way we do Iron Forge, just so you know, is I'll post in the group Thursday, ask me a question. Any question that goes into that post, me and the coaching staff will answer live, and that's basically how we do it. Appreciate you guys coming in tonight. God bless. Stay vigilant, and we'll talk soon.